Reading from the Caitanya-bhāgavata Antya-khaṇḍa 4, chapter 271. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityānanda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Nityānanda mahāmatta āira santoṣe parānanda-sindhu-mājhe bhāsena hariṣe. When the greatly intoxicated Nityānanda saw how happy Mother Śacī was, he floated in an ocean of transcendental ecstasy. Om Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chaksur Unmalatam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Caitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityānanda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Śrīvāsadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So greetings from Govardhan. Maybe some of you read my Monday morning greetings, sadhus of Govardhan, and that's why we come to a holy place. We ourselves don't feel so qualified to be able to appreciate the Dham, but we come to the holy Dham, to the people who are qualified. I give my class every day to a few people and spend, time chanting. And on Ekadasi, Bhakti Vigyan Goswami, who's been extremely kind to me. In fact, he lives about a half hour, less than a half hour power walk away. But there's all kinds of transportation. Anytime you want, there's these electric scooters, but I prefer at that time to get that walk. And it's great. It's great. Outside of his little place that he stays, the disciples are cooking, but they have a Brijbasi lady, and she makes these called bajra rotis. It's a kind of wheat that's very digestible. So he invited me to go on Ekadasi around the Radhakund side of the parikram. And I don't know, there's about 30 people, and they had such a good kirtan group. It was such a good program. And I did, I did Ekadasi that day, and I didn't even feel hungry, because I would never walk around and do Ekadasi at the same time. I walked around and did Ekadasi. Just a day in Govardhan. Today, I have an account in the Govardhan State Bank of India. So a friend of ours, Raghunath Pujari, some of you know, see Hemalata Radha there. He did the initiation Fire Yagya. And he's such a nice Vaishnava. It's just in his blood. It's just in his blood to serve devotees. It's called samskara. Samskara means that you have impressions in your consciousness for attachment and aversion. Generally, samskara should indicate good impressions. And that's, upbringing and past life, but he has an impression. So he really, and it was such a chaotic bank, and I had to do some transaction because I needed money to complete the construction here of the small ashram that we're making, but I needed money for the construction. And there was such a complication, and it was so complex, because I hadn't been there in a year and a half because of COVID and rules changed, and it was so complex. It was such, it was so chaos. But more than that, you can't drive into Govardhan, so I had to meet him where they block it off. And I was waiting outside, and there are literally millions of people doing parikram now. And just it's a river of devotion. Of course, people don't all do it for pure devotion, but it's a river of devotion. So I'm waiting for its kind of chaos. And I thought of taking a picture because it's packed, and entitling it, it's packed, social distancing in Govardhan, or maybe herd immunity, or maybe the river of bhakti. And went to that bank, and he really had to do, I didn't have the right, I don't know, all of a sudden I was required to have this Indian identification. All the rules changed since I left, and a certain number and so many things and forms and figuring it out. And fortunately, the banker had met me in 2008 when I first opened a little account there. So I had a little account in India. And just sitting at the desk and watching him deal with these people, but he really went out of his way to help me. And he told me that he's been there for 39 years, although they never keep someone in a bank in India for more than 2 years. Then they shift someplace else. There's never a bank president that stays more than 3 years in a place. Then they shift. So, but somehow they keep on coming back. He's a Brijbasi, and I asked him, he said, yeah, I'm retiring. I said, when are you going to retire? He said, I'm retiring in 2 weeks. I said, what will you do? He said, Hari Bhajan. Hari Bhajan. And I kept on asking, because it's so, I was just chanting the whole time. But I was, I don't know, anxious. I kept on asking Raghunath, what's going on? What's going on? He said, it's okay, it's okay. And I asked him about the third or fourth time. He said, I'm taking the burden for you. That is my seva, Maharaj. With heart, he said that. So I think that's like real Vaishnava. Yeah. And the crowds will get bigger and bigger until the Purnima. And again, if anyone is free, somehow I'm going to do one retreat in Govardhan at the beginning of February, and at the very end of March and the beginning of April, do something in Colombia. So So I'm kind of looking forward to that. Right now, I'm trying to think about this retreat. There's a few people already have signed up. Yeah, there's actually already quite a few people who signed up. But I really like to make it special, and I'm even thinking of I have created when it comes actually meeting some sadhus. Vikram, who's with me, he knows a lot of people, and says even maybe we'll go to bhāsena and take lunch at this Saint Vinod Baba's ashram. Incredible place. When he first took me there, I thought it was like Jaiva Dharma. Jaiva Dharma is a book about the Vaishnavas, the generation after Lord Chaitanya. And I walked into it, I thought that people were falling over each other to serve me. And then I sat there and I went this before COVID, and I was watching people come in and just seeing, wow, that's not me. They're falling over to serve everyone. They're falling over to serve everyone. And then, somehow or other, this I guess a Vrindavan saint, he chants from 5 a.m. till 2 o'clock every day. So at the end of his worship, somehow he heard I was there, and he called me into his room, and we just spoke briefly. He was very kind. Then he said, take prasad. I can't take with you. I have to go out like this. So incredible prasadam. And then I washed up and I was about to leave. He just came out of his ashram with this package that had this white peshmir chadar, and he took it out and he draped it around me and then hugged me. And I just thought, like, wow, what a nice experience to see Vaishnavas. Prabhupada said Vaishnava is not an ordinary thing. And I think the main principle of Vaishnava, the main principle is a Vaishnava thinks of others before themselves. I think when it comes down to it, that's what it is. So maybe take there. And then I have a kind of a neighbor here. Her name is Achamurti. She's like a guru. She's from Russia. She's like a guru for the Russian ladies. And she has a menagerie in her house. She takes people out on Prikram, and all they do is clean the temple. So maybe a few people like that. Anyway, that's a little advertisement if anybody's free. I hope we get at least maybe 15 people or so. Let's see. So now we're in Gaur Lila. And as Narottam Das Thakur said, when you dive deep into the pastimes of of the Sankirtan pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when you alight, you enter into the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, because it's a basic principle. When you serve someone, you have to take their desire into your heart. And if you have that mood of service, their desire comes into your heart. And that's how bhakti works. So when you desire to serve Lord Chaitanya, his desire comes into your heart. And what is his desire? His desire is the mood of Sri Radha and pure devotional service. So advanced practitioners, they meditate on Gaur Lila. And that's what Lord Chaitanya is thinking about. And they enter into that way. So I feel it's really appropriate. I'm reading Krishna book and commenting. That's what I do now, read a few verses and comment. And somehow we worked our way up to the Ras Lila, which was so appropriately presented by Prabhupada for our digestion. That's what I can say. Well, anyway, we're seeing Lord Chaitanya and his Lila, and then he took sannyas, and that's crushing for his mother. That scene, in fact, the ghat the place in the river, the boat, where Lord Chaitanya crossed when he left in the middle of the night to take sannyas. That ghat is called Nirdoya. It's called without mercy. And the seeing, because when there is real love, the person who you love becomes your life. And without that person, you have no life. And Mother Śacī, the mother of God, and he's gone. When she finds out, she just stands lifeless. And people are frantic, they're wailing, and they're coming to the house. She said, take anything you want. Take anything you want. Because nothing has any meaning anymore. And now somehow Lord Chaitanya now is coming back, not coming back, well, he's actually going to be on the way to Puri, but he stops in Shantipur, which is also in district of Nadia. Nadia Godume Nityānanda Mahajan Pati Achinam Hata Jivara Karan. The district of Nadia. So Lord Chaitanya comes there, and then they send message to Śacī, and Mother Śacī comes a little bit at a distance, offers her heartfelt prayers, kind of recognizing her son's glories, but in a way not to become reverent, but in a way to increase her motherly love. And that's what happens with Aishvarya or opulence in Braj. It doesn't create a reverence. It increases the madhurya. It increases the sweetness. I gave that example, my own relationship, my own mother, and how when she calls her nieces, her granddaughters, who loved her very much, and if I had come over, she would say, oh, His Holiness was here. But that didn't decrease the motherly love, that I had a position or some. So she's just, people are losing consciousness when they see Mother Śacī's love. When you see a true expression of emotion and you're soft-hearted, it will affect your own heart. And what to speak of the level of this love. So this is just Gaur Leela. There's emotion, there's spiritual emotion. And spiritual emotion is contagious. It's contagious, just like when someone dies, especially if a woman's husband dies. I remember I had when I was in charge of the Gurukul, I had this Indian accountant that was appointed by Prabhupada. And he lived in Vrindavan, and he gave up everything, actually. He used to be in the military or something. He gave up everything to be in Vrindavan. He just he saw Banki Bihari deity, and he just never left. Okay, this was connected to something, but it'll probably just come back to me. Oh yeah, so I remember that Mother Devi Shakti informed me he passed away of a heart attack. And I immediately went there, and his body was lying outside the house that he was staying. And the women were wailing. That's what they do. It just is what they do. They just wail. And it's they're just wailing and wailing, and anybody that joins, even if they don't know them, they also wail. They also wail. So bhakti sanjayate bhakti, bhakti causes. So the emotion is so powerful. So everyone is just feeling it, and what is love? What is love? It's when your happiness is the happiness of another. It's more than your own personal enjoyment. So when Nityānanda, who is Nityānanda mahāmatta, great, intoxicated Lord Nityānanda, santoṣe, she's so satisfied, parānanda-sindhu, in an ocean of ecstasy, he's just floating because he sees this. So it's a real Vaishnava Sanga. Acharya Gosai recited prayers glorifying Devaki while offering unlimited obeisances to Mother Śacī. So the main symptom of emotion is expression of emotion. And expression of emotion increases emotion. And one of the main ways to do it is prayers. That's why we need prayers. When you have an emotion, you need some prayer or some song. We see that when Lord Caitanya was in the Rath Yatra, he had an emotion. And the emotion is this union and separation of taking Krishna from his position of royalty in Dwarka as he's visiting Kurukshetra, and he's surrounded by soldiers, and therefore he can't express his side as Radharani's lover. The environment is not conducive for that. So the Rath Yatra is taking Krishna back. It's a very esoteric thing, and taking Krishna, and that feeling of love that Radha has in this union, separation and union. They asked Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in your retirement, in your old age, is there any place where you would like to do bhajan? Is there any place where you would like to do bhajan? He said Kurukshetra, and the devotees said, Kurukshetra? Why Kurukshetra? Kurukshetra? Not Vrindavan? Not Mayapur, not retired to Puri, Kurukshetra. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhutanam tadatmanam dharmashetre kurushetre samaveta yutsava mamaka pandavaschaiva kima kurbhakta sanjaya. Why Kurukshetra? And he was thinking of this pastime. He was thinking he said, because I'm Radhika Dasya, and that was her greatest moment of need. Because she was with Krishna, but not her lover. And her lover is actually Krishna. So she wasn't with Krishna. Krishna means Vrindavan. So Lord Caitanya wanted that mood. He came to taste the mood of his devotee, his topmost devotee, Sri Radha, at the height of her separation. And he wanted to taste that feeling, and specifically this feeling. And he was in Ratha Yatra, and he just needed a song. He needed a song, but there was no song written before, because Anarpita Charim Charat Kurunaya Vatirna Kalo, because for a very, very long time, this mood was not given. So there was no song. So he found a song from a Sanskrit romance that had a similar, that he could apply to that. Then Rupa Goswami, seeing that, then wrote a verse for him that directly applied to that pastime. But the verse that he said is, I quoted this many times, it's the same moonlight night of the month of Chaitra and the same sweet Malati breeze blowing in the air, but I don't want you here. I want you in the days of my youth. So song is so important to alleviate and express mood. And that's why there's so many wonderful bhajans, and in a classic Gaudiya style, first they chant a particular bhajan. And first they chant a particular bhajan, and then they sing Hare Krishna, because they don't only want to just sing Hare Krishna, they want to sing in a particular mood. It's such a key point of the philosophy, but it nourishes mood, and it's an expression of your heart. That's kirtan. So naturally, in this emotion that is there of Mother Śacī's happiness, where she's seeing her son, and then the devotees in that type of ecstasy, Advaita recites prayers glorifying Devaki, which is the mother of God, Devaki, that's another incarnation, of course, while offering unlimited obeisances to Mother Śacī again and again. The physical act, putting your body where you want your mind to go, and your mind is going there. And what are you saying? I'm offering respects. It's humility. It's utter humility and offering respects. Devotees headed by Haridas, Murari, Sri Karba, Narayan, Jagadish, and Gopinath became so happy on seeing Mother Śacī's satisfaction, they appeared to merge in transcendental ecstasy. That's where the heart is when the heart is pure. It finds happiness in love. And therefore its happiness is the happiness of others that you love. And that's the feeling. And we should have those experiences even in our ordinary relationships. We should have people that we love so much that we become overjoyed when they're actually happy. And this is not just a mental conception. This is the spiritual energy. E saba anand pade shuneye jan avashya milaye tari Krishna premadan. Anyone who reads or hears these ecstatic pastimes will certainly attain the wealth of ecstatic love for Krishna. So this is why we read these stories, because they're in poetry, they're in drama, and the nature of poetry and drama is to recreate a particular motion in such a way that you can feel it. So if it's a drama about a tragedy, it recreates it in such a way that you actually have those sentiments. But this is bhakti ras. So when you hear about bhakti ras and you make yourself qualified by faithfully hearing it, then it'll have an effect on your heart. And that's the purpose of the Shastra. Not to just change your mind, but to change your heart. Of course, first the mind has to be changed. But ultimately, understanding should lead to rasa or feeling. And that's the whole way Bhagavatam's composed, just to get you to the 10th canto with the proper understanding, so that when you hear those pastimes of Krishna, you begin to feel them. And in feeling them, then desiring them. What are you desiring? You're desiring your eternal relationship with Krishna. Prabhura Dibena Bhiksha I Bhagyavati Prabhustani Advaita Laila Anumati. Advaita then took permission from the Lord for the fortunate mother Śacī to cook for him. So, Bhagya, fortune. What is the greatest fortune? The greatest fortune is service. I sometimes gravitate to references of things that I speak about repeatedly, but in the wives of the Brahmins, delivering the wives of the Brahmins, when Krishna sends the cowherd boys to beg, they say, Bhadram Te, this is all auspiciousness to you. Because the greatest auspiciousness is to get seva, and advanced devotees fight for seva. Nityānanda Swami tells me he has this wonderful festival every year. He used to in Ukraine. 10,000 devotees would come. They never would charge anything. It was simply based on donations. And there's many temples in Ukraine, I don't know, 15, 20. And the different yatras, they would fight for who got the service of cooking for the devotees. Same thing with serving prasadam. The advanced devotees are more interested in serving than eating. As Mother Śacī went to cook in great satisfaction with love, she thought, Gaurchandra is Lord Narayan himself. Again, the Madhurya, the Acharya, not creating a reverential mood, but creating a very intimate mood. My son is God. Katike prakari I karila randana namanahi jani hena randila yashana. Mother Śacī cooks such a variety of vegetable preparations that I do not know the names of them all. And this is really a specialty of Bengal and Orissa. The variety of vegetables they cook. I'm going to be going now to Bengal, to Mayapur, to stay with Jagadish and Yugala. A dream come true. They're honestly like family to me. They have a beautiful, beautiful place, and they have a beautiful room for me. And from my room, I can look out and I can see the yoga pit, Lord Chaitanya's birthplace. And I'll be going there, and I know once in a week they'll get the mahāprasadam and the varieties of different vegetables and different orders and so many things and different things they cook. And that Bhunte Bhojyate Chaiva, and Prabhupada said in human society, there's 6 exchanges of love. And if you want to nourish your heart, you have to partake in them. And that's the dati pritagrinati. You give gifts and you accept gifts. Guyamat yachi prichati. You inquire in confidence and you explain in confidence. And bhunte bhojyate chaiva. You give prasadam and you accept prasadam. And that's what a real beautiful society is, when these things are exchanged with such deep love. Bhakti is best expressed by seva, which means loving responsiveness to the Lord through the faculties of the mind, body, and words. Mind, body, and that's body. Exchange, you cook, you try to please. We need to live in those kind of nourishing relationships, because that's real pleasure. Pleasure is of the heart. I jane Prabhu santoṣe parīṣe Vimsati prakara shaka randila iteke. Lord Caitanya knew that Lord Caitanya was very fond of shak, spinach. So she cooked 20 different varieties. In Bhaktivinoda Thakur's song, what is it? Shuddha Bhakata Charuna Rena Bhajana Nukula. And he begins to describe the different things that the devotional activity. One thing he mentions is the name Gora Priya, very dear to Gaur. That's the name for spinach. Gaur Priya, disciple of mine, already became amused when she got her name, and then she read in that song, stands for spinach. Very dear to one of the names. Ekeke Vajana Prakara Dasa Bishe Randilena I Ati Chitara Santoṣe. To her full satisfaction, Mother Śacī cooked each vegetable in 10 to 20 different ways. It sounds incredible, but you have to see them cook in Bengal. I remember Bhakti, the late godbrother Bhakti Swami, he had a disciple near the airport, a professor, and he made his house. I stayed there one night, devotees visiting, they could stay. And the mother of the professor name was Draupadi, and she was expert in cooking. And a Bengali feast, it has the rice in the middle, and then the bitter sabjis, shukta, come, and then in little clay cups, like little circles, and then they go concentric and they keep on going around. You can have 30, 40 preparations, and it ends with a variety of milk sweets. After cooking numerous preparations, she took them to the dining room. She put rice and the vegetables on the plates and then placed tulsi manjaris on them. She placed rice and vegetable preparations in rows on all sides, and then she placed a fine seat in the middle. Mahaprabhu then came with his associates to eat. When the Lord saw the variety of rices and vegetable preparations, he offered his full obeisances. Prabhu bhale e anira takuku bhojana e ana dakila hoya bandhavama. The Lord said, what to speak of eating this rice? One is freed from material bondage just by seeing it. Of course, first-class eating or first-class preparations, it begins with the eyes, that it's pleasing to the eyes. and then to the feel, and then to the taste. But the main thing is, it's the express, just like kirtan again, is bhakti, someone's bhakti in sound vibration. And therefore you hear that sound vibration of someone who has a pure heart. It has a very profound influence on your own heart. And the same thing with cooking. It's the manifestation of a devotee, a mother's heart. It's her love. And when you know that it's cooked with love, then by seeing it, you experience love. What to speak of tasting it. And that's what it says here, what to speak of eating. One is freed by just seeing it. Kiranda ihata kahila kichunoi e anira gande o krishnete bhakte hoy. Well, I'm unable to describe such cooking. Even by smelling this rice, one develops devotion to Krishna. When Mother Narmasaki came to Vrindavan, and she cooked for me, and she brought especially the rice that grows there. Now she has a farm where she grows the rice. And it's fragrant. Without even cooking, it's fragrant. And I once wrote an article called The Supreme Personality of Rice, and it was just so many things in it. Just looking at it, you saw her devotion. What to speak of tasting it. E Bali Prabhu Ana Pradakshina Kari Bhojana Vilasari Garanga Nahari. After speaking these words, Lord Garanga circumambulated the rice and sat down to eat. Circumambulation, again, you go around something, it means something else is in the center. And if you do it with sincerity, it helps move your consciousness out of the center, the place where we fight to occupy, and the place where God's mercy is not felt. On the order of the Lord, all his associates sat down on all sides to watch the Lord eat. As the Lord of Vaikuntha began eating, the fortunate mother Śacī watched the Lord to the full satisfaction of her eyes. She has love, and she's seeing her son enjoy that food. The Lord relished each vegetable preparation with great satisfaction. Yet of all the preparations, the shak preparations are most glorious, for the Lord repeatedly ate them. On seeing the Lord's fondness for shak, that spinach, all of his devotees smiled. The Lord smiled and glorified the shak preparation he ate. Prabhu Bale Ayai Achutanam Shak Ihara Bhojane Hoy Krishna Anurag. The Lord said, this shak is known as achuta. By eating it, one develops attachment for Krishna. By eating patala, vastuka, and kala shakas, one enjoys the Vaishnava's association birth after birth. By eating salishcha and helas chashak, one remains free from disease and attains devotional service of Krishna. The Lord's hairs stood on end as he narrated in this way the glories of the various shakas while eating. Only the thousand-headed Ananta knows the happiness the Lord enjoyed while eating that day. The original Lord Ananta, who supports the universe, constantly glorifies these pastimes with his thousands of tongues. The same Lord has appeared in Kali Yuga as the Avadut Nityānanda. On his order, I am writing only a summary of these pastimes. So this is Vedavyas, and Nityānanda is his guru. So on his order, he's writing it. And that's very important because building big temples, writing many books, taking many disciples, they can feed one's ego, and one gravitates, even in spiritual life, towards those activities, that kind of material consciousness. So therefore, in the nectar of devotion, one of the principles of devotion is you shouldn't build big temples, you shouldn't write many books, and you shouldn't take many disciples. Of course, in the purport, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati mentions that a sannyas must take disciples to increase the sampradaya of the family. But because they anything that allures us to this ego, to this control, to this centeredness, to this enjoyment, one has to be very, very wary about. Anyway, so one has to do it as a seva, do it as a service, always conscious that the engine behind my activities is service and not enjoyment. And in that service, it's the highest enjoyment. After finishing his pastimes and eating, Mahaprabhu washed his hands and sat down. As soon as the Lord washed his hands, the devotees began to plunder his remnants. Someone said, "What right does a Brahmin have to eat these remnants? I am a Sudra, so I am qualified to eat them." Someone else said, "I am not a Brahmin." Another person grabbed some remnants and ran away. Someone said, "Sudras are not qualified to eat remnants." You try to understand whether this is right or wrong according to the scriptures. Another said, "I do not want any remnants. I will simply take the empty plate and go." Someone else said, I've always thrown out the empty plates, but now out of ignorance, you are taking my duty. In this way, the restless devotees eagerly honored the Lord's nectarian remnants, prasad. The potency, Mahaprasad Govinde, Nama Brahmani Vaishnave, Swalpa Punya Rato Rajam Vishvaso Navajayate. Swalpa Punya, even a little is so pious. Who would not hanker for the remnants of food that was cooked by Mother Śacī and tasted by the Lord? After they blissfully finished eating, the devotees all went before the Lord. All of Lord Gaurasundar's associates came and sat down around him. When the Lord saw Murari Gupta before him, he smiled and spoke to him. "O Gupta, I've heard that you have composed 8 verses describing Raghavendra. Please recite them." He was a devotee of Lord Ram. So I've finished there for today. I felt kind of alive. I don't know why, because the banking thing was exhausting. Jumunajaya, you have a nice service to start it off and share.
Hare Krishna Raj, thank you so much for class. It's just wonderful to hear about the Vishvashis and all the things that are going on. So thank you for sharing that. I loved when you said that the engine behind our activities should be seva and not enjoyment, but it's in the seva that is the actual enjoyment. I love the analogy of the engine, really the modus operandi we have for everything.
It should be our engine.
Yes, I love that.
Thank you, Jumunajaya. Great. Anybody else like to say hello? Gail, you might have a question maybe?
Not today, Maharaj. Thank you.
What's that?
No, I don't have any questions today, but thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Gail. This is good news that you don't have any questions. Okay, I mean, not because I don't like your questions, but okay. Anybody else like to say hello?
Morning, Maharaj. How are you?
Hey, Bhakti Devi, Haribo.
Haribo. I'm really seriously considering the trip to Govardhan, so I will keep you posted.
Okay. Okay.
Have a great day.
It's not as cushy as the MVT, but we'll try to.
Okay.
Okay, well, you said it's okay, but it's not as cushy, I can say.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. I think it'll be really kind of sweet and nice. And I was Vikram was gonna take a picture of the Prikram path because it's packed and say herd immunity, because if you look at the charts, there's very, very little COVID in Uttar Pradesh.
Yes, I read that in the email. But I will let you know. You know, I do have family pressure and
Right.
other
Okay.
things, so.
I'd love to see you there, Bhakti
I
Devi.
would love to be there.
It'd be really nourishing. Leela Vilasini is going to come, and I'm trying to be creative and yeah. The person who took me to the bank. Maybe when you go, but Bhakti, maybe I'll take you to the bank.
Yeah, introduce you to your banker who took good care of you.
Yeah, I'll take you to the bank. And an Indian bank, they have gates with a chain so that there's only this much room you can get in the bank.
Oh.
I guess.
Well,
Yeah.
that's not a good sign.
Well, it's interesting.
Yeah.
But anyway, at least it was chaos and there was so many people outside, but it kind of had a bob. Okay, good. Thank you, Bhakti Devi. See you in Govardhan. Okay, anybody else coming? Anybody else like to say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you for
Who's it?
class.
Isabel.
Yeah, Isabel.
I still have to answer your letter. I didn't get around to it, but I'm thinking.
Don't worry. I appreciate it. Take your time. I'm also considering possibly, I'm right here finishing this remediation here in my house, but if everything goes well, I plan to also hopefully be there in February.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And Bhakti Devi and I could hang out.
You've been to India before?
I've never. This would be my first time.
Okay. Okay.
I have all my
Well,
vaccines and stuff, though. I'm good for that at least.
okay. Okay. If not that, you can visit me in
April?
Colombia.
Yeah.
End of March. Okay.
Oh, end of March. Great. Thank you. Have a great
Okay.
day, Maharaj.
Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Gumaraj, Tota Gopinath here.
Haribo.
Hare Krishna.
No one else? No other voices in your house?
Everybody's at school or work. It's just me preparing,
Okay.
getting ready to go myself.
Okay.
Haribo.
Krishna Premi.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Can you hear me?
I will be there on the 5th of December. Don't you dare go back to China before I come.
Wow, I have no chance and I look forward to that. And
Okay.
Radha Shram Prabhu told me, huh?
What?
Maybe he wants to keep that as a surprise. I don't know. Anyway, I want to, yes, we have some good plans. Okay.
You have a good plan. Okay.
For you.
Okay. No, one thing I definitely want to visit you there, and I'd like to actually also sit down with Radha Charan and discuss so many things also. you know. I know
Yeah,
the
of
cooking
course.
is great, but
Yes.
also that.
I can't
Okay.
believe it's been 2 years. Last time it was 2 years ago, 1 year ago, 2 years ago almost. So
2
it's
years ago.
unbelievable.
I'll be coming with
Almost last year
I did-
in January.
I just got my. No, not 2 years in January.
Last year, January, now it's November. So
Oh, okay.
almost 2 years.
Almost 2. Okay, I'll be coming with Bhakti Vigango Swami. I mean, just he invited me to come with him. I got my ticket today, so it's booked for the December 5th.
Oh, wonderful. Wow, we look forward to that. Yes. I also want to mention that in the class you mentioned about a very good definition of Vaishnava. Is the Vaishnava always put others before themselves. So
Yes.
it's really wonderful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will.
Hare Krishna.
I will. For those who you don't know, Krishna Premi is one of the really one of the main people in China. So much service. Her and her husband Radhacharan, and she did so much translating and constantly. Anybody else like to say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, His Gloria. Thank you for the class.
Oh, Haribo, thank you. I'll definitely see you in Colombia. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thanks for the class, Maharaj.
Haribo, Sri Radhika, how's the condition there?
I'm now in Tehran, and I today went for the embassy to get my visa, and I gave my documents and everything. So they said it takes like 10 days for the visa. It may take 10 days.
So you and your mother are planning if you get visas to come, right?
Yeah, to be honest, I was planning to see if they give more than 30 days, if I can go to GV before that. But it seems that it's just 1 month. So I was thinking.
It's 1 month, but what if they change that? Can you apply again?
Yes, I think I can. I wanted to go for GV. It's 300 hour yoga teacher training. So I thought I go there for a month, then I come back, then I come with my mom again. But I don't know if I can get there for that because it's in 5 days. They start in 5 days. So if I get my visa, I will go for that, then come back again, and then again I go to India.
If you get that, you go to GV.
Yes. I go to GV and do my yoga teacher training. And then I come back to Iran and get another visa to go for your retreat, the retreat you're planning for Govardhan.
Okay, now let me ask you, when does that GV thing start?
In just few days, in 5 days, in 5-6 days.
Who's doing it?
Oh, it's just GV, the Govardhan School of Yoga. They're doing it.
Oh,
the thing that's, yeah, I did the 200 before there. So I wanted to do the 300 hour again. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay. But and your mother?
Yeah, and my mother is just planning to go for your retreat. So we're hoping that if I go, then I come back, we can get visa again and come together to your retreat. But if I cannot go for this, I have the visa, so I can come for your Govardhan retreats. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Haribo. Anybody else like to say?
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Girma, good to see you.
It's great to see you. You look great.
Okay, we need to talk soon, right? So
yeah, what's a good time for you?
This time is basically good. Anytime from, when from 8 o'clock to 9 in the morning is a good time.
Can we say 9 a.m. my time
9
today
a.m.?
or no?
What time is it there now?
It's
9 a.m.?
8:35.
No, 8 or 8:35 is better for me.
Oh, so like tomorrow.
1 second. Yeah, let me just look at my calendar quickly.
Thank you.
Not tomorrow, maybe Friday, okay?
Okay.
Just send me a Zoom, okay?
Friday at 8 a.m. would be great.
Yeah.
Then I
send me
have
a
to
Zoom.
work. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so
send me
much,
a-
Maharaj. I'm so happy
Okay.
you're in a great place.
Okay, good. Anybody else like to say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, this is Nityānanda.
Hey, Malata, Haribo.
Haribo Maharaj. I'm
Okay.
excited that to hear so many people are planning on go, and I'll do my best, to go. Visas is again are for now 30 days. So we'll see. We want to go for longer.
Maybe they're waiting to see if there's a surge or something.
Mhm.
So visas generally take, those visas don't take more than a week,
Yes.
Those e-visas, they don't take very long. So you could kind of wait for the visa if you wanted. And depending on when you feel, maybe the prices will also go down. If they open.
Yes, prices are really high because not many airlines are flying from here. Just a few airlines are flying through Europe. Or if not, I have to go to the US and then fly from the US with Air India or something like that.
Maybe just, if anything, the prices should go down, right? Not up, right?
Yes, I don't know. That's a lottery, I think. We never know.
Okay, never know. Okay, anyway, whatever, try your best, see what
Yes,
happens.
Maharaj.
Oh, okay. Okay. Anybody else like to say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. All Govinda.
Thank you
Thank you for
Your main man, Raghunath, what a nice guy. I mean, his car couldn't even get into Govardhan, and I was waiting by the thing in Dangati where they come in, and there's like so many people and crazy policemen trying to, and car. I said, how's he going to get in? Then I see him like walking and a thing, and we went. He really worked hard, but what I was impressed with is his spirit.
Yeah.
He really wants to serve Vaishnavas, Okay. All right.
Very well.
Very well. Okay. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dorita.
Who is
Thanks
that?
for the class.
Dorita. Wow, I'm so glad how you're perfecting your English.
Oh my God, thank you. You are so kind.
It's such a good way to do it.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Okay. Vancha kalpa